My name is Susan, and I'm with the New Rochelle Library, and I am delighted to be with you today to tell you about some of my very favorite picture books. All of the books that I'm going to talk about today are available as ebooks from the New Rochelle Library website, and they can be downloaded through Overdrive. So the first book that I'm going to tell you about today is titled Virgil and Owen Stick Together. Now, this book is about two friends who are just about polar opposites in more ways than one. Owen is a polar bear who likes to take things very slowly and thoughtfully, but Virgil is a penguin who wants to do everything quickly. And Virgil is always in a rush, and he just can't resist putting a fast finish to Owen's very deliberate efforts. Now, I love this book because of the characters. They are so recognizable, and the author does a wonderful job of fully developing these characters, but with very little text. So a child does not have to have a long attention span to enjoy this book. I also love how these two characters manage to be friends, even with all of their differences, with a little tolerance and understanding and forgiveness. So I hope you explore Virgil and Owen, two delightful characters. The second book that I want to tell you about today is entitled Creepy Pair of Underwear. Who could resist that title? This was written by the dynamic duo of Aaron Reynolds, the author, and Peter Brown, the illustrator. In this book, Jasper Rabbit is shopping for new underwear with his mom in the store when he spots a display titled Creepy Pair of Underwear. This underwear is green and it glows with a Frankenstein face. And Jasper decides he has to have this underwear. Jasper pleads, Mom agrees, and Jasper wears his new underwear to bed that night. But in the dark of Jasper's room, this underwear glows a ghoulishly green, and Jasper decides this underwear is more creepy than cool, and it's not for him. So the next day, he takes the underwear, throws it away. But you guessed it, the underwear comes back. Now, what I love about this book is how Jasper, all on his own, solves his dilemma and shows that he really is old enough to wear creepy underwear. The third book, Thank You, Amu. Now, when this book begins, Amu is in her apartment kitchen preparing her evening meal. A thick red stew in a big fat pot. And the delicious smell of this stew wafts through Amu's window, down the hall, around the corner, and into the neighborhood. And it's not long before a little boy is knocking on her door. And of course, Amu shares her stew with the little boy. But soon after that, a policewoman is knocking on her door, followed by the hot dog vendor, followed by a veritable parade of people, all knocking on Amu's door. And of course, she generously shares her stew with each and every one. But when Amu sits down to enjoy her evening meal, there is no stew left. There is so much to love about this book. The language the author uses is as rich as Amu's stew. And she uses patterns of repetition that encourage the reader to read the words aloud, and they are delightful. And of course, the illustrations are just beautiful. And the final book that I want to tell you about today is titled Stop Bot by James Yang. And in it, a little boy exclaims joyfully to an apartment doorman that he has a bot, but not for long, because the bot escapes and begins its own independent ascent up the side of a very tall apartment building. Now, this doorman is determined to catch that bot for this little boy, so he begins his upward climb in the apartment building, floor by floor. And window by window, we get to meet the residents of this building. I love this book because of all its detail. It is just, there's so much for you to talk about with your child as you read this book and you look at the pictures. And I am fully convinced that the adults who read this book with their children, they're going to laugh just as hilariously at this ending as any child will. So those are the 4 books that I wanted to tell you about today. I think they're all terrific. And I hope you will too. I hope you find some time to sit down with your child and read and laugh. Thank you for your time today, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye-bye.